Hey there, everybody. This is Tom with Tom's Talk Show, and today we are going over more of Glenn Beck's 40 Days. We're on day 12. Continuing on, it's kind of progressing, it's kind of building. Each day kind of builds on each other going forward. So, again, I'm not affiliated with Glenn Beck or the Glenn Beck program or Blaze Media in any way. I'm just a guy in his office with a camera. All right, here we go. If you could also like and subscribe to the channel, that would help me a lot. Let me know who's following, kind of see what's going on, see how many people are watching these things. So appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so we're on day 12, which is signs and wonders. So in Genesis, God gave us signs to discern time. God said, "Let there be light in the dome of the sky." My translation says in the heavens or something like that. In the expanse of the heavens to separate day from night. Let them be for signs, seasons, days, and years. God described his work in Egypt as signs and wonders. Even though I will increase my signs and wonders in the land of Egypt, Pharaoh will not listen to you. So the disciples of Jesus worked signs and wonders. Everyone was filled with awe, and many miracles and signs took place through the emissaries. Signs and wonders are undeniably used by God and his people throughout the Bible, yet in the book of John, Jesus asks for faith without signs or wonders. So John 4:46 through 54. So let's go there. John 4 through 54. Basically the end of this chapter. Okay. Therefore he came again to Cana of Galilee, where he had made water into wine. And there was a royal official whose son was sick at Capernaum. When he heard that Jesus had come out of Judea into Galilee, he went with him and was imploring him to come down to heal his son, for he was at the point of death. So Jesus said to him, "Unless you people see signs and wonders, you simply will not believe." The royal official said to him, "Sir, come down before my child dies." Jesus said to him, "Go, your son lives." The man believed the word that Jesus spoke to him and started off immediately. Okay, so as he was now going down, his slaves met him, saying that his son was living. He inquired of them the hour when he began to get better. They said to him, "Yesterday at the 7th hour, the fever left him." So the father knew it was at that hour in which Jesus said to him, "Your son lives." He himself believed, his whole household. This again is a second sign that Jesus performed when he came out of Judea of Galilee. So people can also say and kind of think that, well, God doesn't do those things. He just doesn't do things like that. So mostly I think it's because people aren't paying attention. So I needed surgery a few years ago. I have titanium in my back so that I can stand up and walk. So before that surgery, I needed a CT scan. Insurance was rejecting it, saying it wasn't safe for me. Yeah, this is our insurance in America here. So I kept bugging them and pestering them, trying to get them to approve it. And I got a call one day that said your CT scan has been approved. You can go off and get schedule it and go in for the scan. And probably 5 minutes later, my wife called, and she was with her Bible study group, and over at I think she was at Barbara Cameron's house, and she said that they had just was talking with her. She said they had just been praying 5 minutes before that I would be able to get my CT scan. So right at that 5 minute, right at that mark, when they were praying that I would get my scan, my phone was ringing that I would get my scan. Too many of those things happen in me getting my surgery for them to be coincidences. There's a lot more things, but that's one of them. Maybe we don't see them because we're not looking, or we're just throwing it off. Oh, it's just a coincidence. No. Okay. The man in the story believed Jesus before he went home and saw that his son was really alive. The lesson is, switch over here. Hold. Here we go. The lesson is the power of trust without witnessing not one single sign or wonder in our lifetimes. In fact, the Bible warns against the sway of false signs and wonders. Okay, so we can read Deuteronomy 13, 1 through 5. We'll do that. Some of these are short. Deuteronomy 13. Okay. Here. So, if a prophet or dreamer of dreams arises among you and gives you a sign or wonder, and the sign or wonder comes true, concerning which he spoke to you, saying, let us go after other gods whom you have not known, and let us serve them, you shall not listen to the words that the prophet or that dreamer of dreams. For the Lord your God is testing you to find out if you love your Lord with all your heart and with all your soul. You shall follow the Lord your God and fear him. You shall keep his commandments. Listen to his voice. Serve him. Cling to him. But that the prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has counseled rebellion against the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you from the house of slavery. So that was biblical times. If you were prophesying or you were telling the church to do something, you're not going to live. They're just going to take you. Okay. A wicked and adulterous generation looks for a sign, but none will be given except the sign of the prophet Jonah. You remember from our earlier studies that covenants come with signs. For example, the sign of Jonah pointed to the burial and resurrection of the Messiah, but not all signs were supernatural. Genesis 17, God said to Abraham, as for you, you are to keep my covenant, you and your descendants after you, generation after generation. Here's my covenant, which you are to keep between me and you, along with your descendants after you. Every male among you shall be circumcised. You are to be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskin, and this will be the sign of the covenant between you and me. Israelites are to observe the Sabbath, celebrating it for generations to come as a lasting covenant. It will be a sign between me and the Israelites forever. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh rested and was refreshed. In the case of circumcision and the Sabbath, the sign of the covenant was obedience. Think of that. People of the covenant were identified by their behavior. They were the sign. This hasn't changed. A wicked and adulterous generation asking for the sign, neglected being the sign. Okay, Deuteronomy 13, God warns the Israelites of those who may lead them astray with signs and wonders, even if the prophet or dreamer predicts the future accurately. But still, God says they are false if they draw you to disobedience, if you seduce you into acting in a way not authorized by God. Yeah, a real prophet of God would not lead you into sin and into disobedience. Right? Matthew 23 to 25. At that time, if anyone says to you, look, here's the Messiah, or there he is, do not believe it. For false messiahs and prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. See, I have told you ahead of time. I mean, there's all kinds of things. I mean, all you got to do is look at what are all the other, what we have here. We have one here, Scientology. Right? That's a crazy thing. I mean, many of the other things like Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormonism, all these weird little sects that don't give Christ his due, that don't say that, if it doesn't say, they don't teach that Christ is God and man in one and died for your sins on the cross and rose 3 days later, and then you only thing you have to do is you accept him as your savior, and they teach other things, then that's wrong, right? I mean, some of them say he was his brother. Some say it was some cousin. Some say they take that deity, they take the God and man thing away from Christ in so many cases. And Scientology is crazy town. Basically, that was written as a joke, and somehow people caught onto it and started following it. Good luck on that one. Okay. Under what conditions can even the elect be deceived? How could they become so desperate for signs and wonders that they even go astray from God? What about the average person? How could they avoid deception? If God's people are identified by their obedience, can a non-believer identify you? Can they look at your life and see faithfulness of God? If you are a living sign of God, are you still looking for signs? Maybe the sign and wonder sometimes needs to see today is your obedience. Okay, so let's go down. We've got some questions. Okay, read Matthew 7:15 to 23. Let's go to Matthew 7:15. Here we go. A tree and its fruit. Beware the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Grapes are not gathered from the thorn bushes, nor figs from thistles, are they? So every good tree bears good fruit. But if the bad tree bears bad fruit, if a good tree cannot produce bad fruit, nor can a bad tree produce good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit cuts down and throw it into the fire. So then you will be known by their fruits. Okay. So we probably enough. You recognize others by their fruit, but that is also how others recognize you. Imagine someone's walking to you on a typical day. What fruit do they see you produce? Now okay, there's no other questions on this one. So I've often wondered we go from, restaurant to restaurant, different things during our lives, right? We take my father-in-law and my wife and sit down and we talk to people, and it seems odd that a lot of people tend to be just very caught up in themselves, like customers at restaurants and different things like that. And it always seems that whenever we meet somebody, we try and go back and meet them again, and get the same waitress, get the same person over and over again, because we get interested in them and interested in their lives and what's going on in their lives, and encourage them, and try and show some care and compassion and love for them if they're having trouble, and and all those kinds of things. And I think that's really, I see other people, like we used to go to Starbucks. We don't go to Starbucks anymore because it's not a very good company anymore, I don't think. So we would go into a certain Starbucks that were near where we used to live. We would go there all the time, and we would see other people come in and they just need their drink. They need to get out. They need to, why is this taking so long? And just being, gruff and irritable to the people that are behind the counter. And there's people behind, that's the thing. There are people behind the counter. They have lives, right? They have problems. They have concerns. They might be struggling. They might, who knows what might be going on in their lives, right? Well, you're not going to know if you're not going to ask, right? How can you talk to someone, encourage someone, and make a difference in someone else's life if you're too busy? I got to get, just give me my drink so I can get out of here, right? That's definitely one way, we've done in the past and continue to do. We met somebody at a restaurant the other day. She leads in her, one of her church groups. She goes to a couple different church groups and stuff, and is trying to figure out her way in life. and stuff and what she's going to do. So she's waitressing now, back and forth, just really great person, and unless you're going out there and trying to spread the love of God, you're not going to meet these people, right? You're not going to make changes. You're not going to help anybody else in their life. Okay. There we go. So that is number 12, and we'll keep going. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below if you have any comments or thoughts or anything about any of these Bible studies, and we can chat about it and see where we go. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Take care.